This is a digital presentation on visual impairment. You might be asking, what is visual impairment? Visual impairment, including blindness, is federally defined as an impairment in vision that, even with correction, adversely affects a child's educational performance. The term includes both partial sight and blindness. Many people will experience some type of visual problem at some point in their lives. Whether they can no longer see objects far away or have problems reading small print, these types of conditions are often easily treated with contact lenses or eyeglasses. An individual with a visual impairment will experience developmental milestones in a different way than a child without a visual impairment would. For example, social development is affected as children are not able to pick up on verbal clues, or if they're unable to make eye contact, they may appear disinterested and unable to sustain social interaction. Motor development can be affected because a child with a visual impairment may not be motivated to move towards that which can't be seen or causes inhibition to move for fear of the unknown. In addition, language acquisition can also be affected by the loss of vision, as active interaction with people in the environment is important in language development. A visual impairment can also hinder a child's development of independence due to the fact that incidental learning through observation is not possible for those with significant visual impairments. Individuals with visual disabilities experience many challenges in their day-to-day life. These struggles range from as rudimentary as the inability to see to the difficulty of feeling misunderstood and different. However, despite the many challenges, individuals with visual disabilities also have a number of strengths due to their disability. For example, an individual with a visual impairment typically has heightened senses of smell, taste, touch, and hearing because they tend to rely more fully on these senses due to the fact that they cannot see. In addition, these individuals tend to be very resourceful because they often have to get information in a different way and must be imaginative about where and how to do this. They are also more inclined to have strong listening and verbal skills because this is their main way of taking in and giving out information, rather than relying on body language or printed text. Teachers are one of the biggest advocates for, supporters of, and aides to an individual with a visual impairment. From the beginning of a child's schooling, teachers have an opportunity and an ability to make a difference by making learning accessible to a student with vision loss. As educators, we must maintain high expectations for these students as we would any other student. As a future teacher, there are many ways in which you can help a child with a vision problem. For one, you can be sure to maintain the same classroom arrangements to help students with visual impairments familiarize themselves with the environment. In addition, when instructing students, include more oral information and tactile experiences. When printing materials, be sure to make a copy with enlarged print for a student with a vision problem, or have it transcribed into Braille. Another simple way to accommodate a student with a visual impairment is to give them preferential seating close to the board so that they can see and hear better. By allowing students to use all their senses and build on their strengths, you will help to avoid discouragement and academic struggles. Testing accommodations can also be made by allowing the students to have the questions read aloud to them or allowing extra time for the task. It is also helpful to provide students with a printed copy of the class notes, either in large, bold print, or tape record them so that they can better absorb the information. By providing screen readers, low vision projectors, and screen enlargers, you can assist students in reading, writing, and doing internet research for projects and papers. This can encourage students to feel more capable and independent in their learning. The most important thing to remember when teaching a student with a visual impairment or any disability is to have patience and be understanding. By making minor adjustments, providing aids, and monitoring progress, you can enable a visually impaired student to succeed in a general education classroom. There are a number of resources available to teachers and parents of a child with a visual impairment. The American Foundation for the Blind is a national voice in expanding the possibilities for people with vision loss. The first-hand expertise of their advisory panel and opportunities to reach out to professionals is key to the current and future success of the project. The National Association of Parents of Children with Visual Disabilities, NAPVI, is a national membership organization that enables parents to find information and resources for their children who are blind or visually impaired, including those with additional disabilities. They also provide leadership, support, and training to assist parents in helping their children to reach their full potential. NAPVI is dedicated to giving emotional support, parent education, initiating outreach programs, networking, and advocating for educational needs and welfare of children who are blind or visually impaired. With the American Foundation for the Blind, NAPVI created Family Connect, an online multimedia community that gives parents of visually impaired children a place to support each other, share stories and concerns, and link to local resources. Perkins Scout is a searchable database of carefully evaluated online resources related to blindness and visual impairment. The website's mascot is a guide dog. Classroom teachers will find information on providing access to the curriculum for students who are blind or visually impaired. These teaching tips, educational strategies, accommodations, and instructional adaptations are useful in both inclusive and special education settings. Overall, it is my hope that this video has been a helpful resource to you as an aspiring teacher. I have worked very hard to research visual impairment and compile this information on the disability. With visual impairment and all disabilities, we must always remember to be positive examples of hope, inspiration, and motivation for our students. We must work to help students in any way we can, minimizing their inabilities and maximizing their capabilities. This video highlights both the strengths and the struggles of individuals with visual impairments and seeks to offer strategies, information, and resources on educating the visually impaired in a way that best suits their individual needs. I would like to end with this quote from Helen Keller, American author, political activist, and lecturer who was both deaf and blind. She said, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or touched. They must be felt with the heart." Thank you for watching.